I always start with a voice, and there was some debate over how the voice this man should have. They kind of saw it more as an old, failed Shakespearean actor, and we sort of started with something more sort of Gilgoodian, something more like this. And I found I had trouble energizing that, and I wanted him to be kind of sarcastic, so I had almost more of like an Eastern European idea in mind. And we sort of settled on what you saw, which in the end to me just kind of very much like what Paul Winchell did in the cartoon, but I kind of came at that, it's what kind of, I saw him sort of more laid back, like kind of here, a little bit more like this, very mellow. But then you can't play Gargamel and not be very upset about Smurfs. So when you energize that, it sort of ends up sounding like the cartoon. So I could have probably saved a lot of time, but then we went down that path. I found in playing him, there was I'm going to get in trouble for this. There was a fair amount of my mother in there. And only that I just remember her, upset and yelling and running and yelling at kids a lot, because that's the memory I have of her.
Can I please meet your mother?
Chasing it. And my mother's from New York and kind of talks like this. And there is some of that in Gargamel.
So many voices throughout your career. How often does a brand new, fresh one come your way?
It's been years, because honestly, when the first 10 years of The Simpsons, once a week. Then that would get less as time went on, and then honestly, I hit a point about 5 years ago, 7 years ago in The Simpsons, where every sound I can make has been used. Even Gargamel, and this voice like this, I'm sure has appeared in The Simpsons at least even a line or two here and there. I think I played some fortune teller in The Simpsons once that sounded like that. And so even ones that seem new to me, I'm like, oh no, I've used that one. So I'm done.
You get more of a chance in this to marry the physicality to the voice. So
yeah.
Do you get physical when you're doing The Simpsons too?
Yes, you can't do it and not be physical. But not as much as this. I'm sort of enjoying this whole new world of, prosthetics isn't so new, but there's like CGI world, like what they did in Alice in Wonderland or Avatar, where you sort of become a living cartoon. Kind of liking that whole idea, because it's a way to, once you create the voice, then you literally can become somebody else on film, but it's you. So I think that's cool.
How did the black onesie feel?
Comfortable.
I found it really tricky and challenging in a way that my brain hasn't been challenged before. The first week I was actually alone filming with just dots. There were no other actors there, and I did feel like I was going crazy.
Neil is kind of not too thrilled about the whole concept of parenting. So can you talk about just how the dynamic of that works and how the Smurfs kind of invade that?
Right. Yeah, I think he's a little apprehensive about becoming a father in the film. A little bit, he's a little bit nervous about that, and I think. All these little creatures kind of coming into his world make him realize, oh my gosh, I'm kind of about to have the same thing. I need to be a father and be parental, and I need to be okay with things not going the same every day, chaos and maybe things being out of order a little bit. And I think it's a nice story for Grace and Patrick Winslow, I think, kind of learning how they're going to become parents, and the Smurfs kind of cause mayhem and madness and all that.
With something with this level of precision, is there room for you guys to go off the script at all? I mean, obviously you're not really going to improv with a dot, but right. Maybe some of your takes, or with each other, with Patrick, with the cat. I
feel like ours less so, but maybe, I don't know how yours.
First of all, I'm more used to it is insane playing to nothing, but years of doing animation work, there's nothing there either. So I'm more used to that, where you just kind of imagine the scene and then just do it. This is the added thing of, but it's right there. And then, I would mostly I come in with sort of a bunch. You can't improvise, because as you say, there's nobody talking back. Or, you guess you could, but you'd be insane at that point. I came with a lot of little alternate lines I would try, and just sort of toss them out there and see what works. I like to do that when I play characters as big as this, because you never know what's going to be funny.
Is there one in there that you like especially?
Ad-lib lines?
Sure.
One that's coming to mind is I have Papa Smurf and I'm about to do bad things to him. And I have a 2-year-old son and I boop his nose a lot. I just go boop. And I booped Papa Smurf's nose. But I don't think it made it into the movie, which I was very disappointed that it did.
Did you guys, like, either of you, like, because I know that Bob Hoskins, when he was filming
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit, he said that sometimes he would kind of hallucinate and visualize Roger Rabbit there, you know. So instead of like seeing the little colored dots or the wireframes, did you ever imagine like a Smurf actually talking back to you or interacting with you? I mean, like, did the nights ever get that long?
I'd never had a psychotic break.
No, but I don't take acid either, so maybe I should.
That'd have been cool. That'd have been so. I mean, I wish I could be that
Actually.
committed that I actually felt the Smurf was there. You know, I remember studying when I was studying acting as a young man. We were told that like that kind of thing should happen. That like you should almost hypnotize yourself into believing. When I remember a lot of my early life as an actor, like waiting for that moment when I would really believe, and it never came. So I gave up on it.
Well, my mom loved the Smurfs growing up, so she would make me watch the Smurfs on Saturday morning. So, just to kind of make her angry, I would always say that Gargamel was my favorite.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just to kind of, you know, as a 5-year-old, I'm getting back at my mom by saying, Gargamel, I love him. But yeah, that was kind of my experience with this Smurf.
I had the opposite experience. I was a little too old for the Smurfs. Thinking, I mean, I was an animation fan, so I was aware of them and I watched them, but I didn't particularly love them. And I especially found Gargamel to be lacking as a character. So when I really was actually kind of annoyed by the animated Gargamel. So I really wanted to. I found it ironic that I was playing him, and I wanted to make him a more pleasant experience for the viewer.
What more did you want from him in the cartoon?
I found him to be too one note in the cartoon. I wanted him to have a little more dimension, you know. I also thought that there was a lot, you know, there's a man who lives with a cat, you know. I thought that there were, you know, I wondered about that. I was like, well, what's going on here? Why are we just accepting that this man exists the way it just seemed too, he was always either yelling, he never wasn't yelling, you know. I tried to actually, my goal to start out the Garden was really to not yell. I was going to try to play him completely sort of underneath it, but you can't, it didn't work. You can't do that. But I tried to at least give him that other side.
You know, when I auditioned for the film, and I didn't know you were involved at the time, I don't think, when I auditioned, but I knew
You wouldn't have done it if you knew I was involved.
definitely wouldn't have done it. Right, I need to get on my manager for that. No, but I did know that Neil was involved, and I knew that he would be, because that was the person I was going to be having the most interaction with. So they let me know that right away, and that excited me, knowing that Neil was involved. But no, I thought it would be fun. The second I heard about Smurfs, I was like, yeah, that sounds cool.
I was more skeptical. I was, because like I said, I had mixed feelings about the Smurfs and the character of Gargamel. And then when I read, I did need to read it. When I read, I was like, I think there's a way to be funny here. I think I can do that. I had a very specific take on a couple of ways I thought Gargamel could be funny throughout the script, and they liked those ideas. So I sat with the writers for a while and tried to infuse that, particularly how Gargamel, the sort of married relationship between Gargamel and Azrael. I wanted them to be like a married couple who were bickering a lot.
Can you talk about like just the scenes that you had to do with Azrael and just how that whole thing played out?
Well, what do you mean?
Well, I mean, like, were they?
What are you trying to say?
How much did you?
I didn't fall in love with the cat, if that's what you're asking.
Like how much? Like, what did they? Did they have like the actual cat there? Were they animating like over that? Like
all of you. There was a real cat. There was a semi-fake cat.
Okay.
There was no cat. There was the suggestion of a cat.
I played the cat
for a while. Jama was kind enough. So, yeah, there was all of the above. We usually would try a take with the real cat,
okay,
and then we would do a take with nothing.
Do you think cat lovers are gonna be, because she looks like my cat, and when she was getting, me and my girlfriend were horrified. I mean, why is the cat always like the villain's minion? Or
Evil.
Well,
'Cause they're
they
evil?
were always, they were known, right, familiars, right? They know, didn't witches and warlocks always have kitties as their
Yes.
evil familiars?
Companion, the familiar, yes, typically. In lore.
Yeah, but cats, yeah, they do have, the dogs have the good rap, and cats get sort of the bad rap.
Damon, I can't remember, did you work really closely with Neil when he did Glee?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
So this was really the first time that Kid
This
Square-
was really the first time. I mean, I'd met him briefly. I did a very small part on How I Met Your Mother, like the first season. So we met kind of briefly then. But no, we didn't get to work together on Glee. But this all kind of started happening around the same time.
Talk about the fun of playing with him and kind of sharing imaginary Smurfs in your scene.
Yeah, no, I think we had a good time laughing at ourselves most of the time. Where are you looking? I think that's the thing we said the most. Which one are you looking at? No, he was wonderful. I've been a big fan of his for a really long time, which is why I was so excited when I knew he was doing the role, playing the role of Patrick. And no, it was great. We had a lot of fun together.
Cried twice at that.
You did?
Watching the movie. I did.
Yeah.
I guess you shouldn't say that, I suppose. But it's true. Maybe because I'm a new dad. The
I was
Papa
a-
Smurf Neil storyline.